What's poppin'? This Mellow back at you with another video. Now, this is for the people who are actually subscribed. This is for the people who really rock with me. This is for the people who really like what I got going on this platform that we building together. We building this. I'm going to be responding to some of the top comments today off some of my top videos. You know, you probably haven't seen many people do this, or anybody. I can't think of anybody who does this. If you know another creator who does this, you know, leave a comment. So I got probably 4 or 5 joints I'm gonna do. Let's get into it. Recently, we're gonna go to the most recent video. Cenat pretty much had an incident where everybody was rioting because of him. And guess what? Most of the people were black. And they were teenagers and early adults, as far as young 20-year-olds and stuff like that, for the most part, just from the look. This is the top comment on that video right now. It hasn't been up for 24 hours. No lives matter with behavior like this. Now, that's a play off Black Lives Matter, and it's getting all types of, you know, likes and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you just very quickly, I'm not going to go super deep in the rabbit hole, but I feel like Black Lives Matter was in cahoots with the media to pretty much make us look bad and things of that nature. And if you look now, rioting is synonymous with black people and the phrase Black Lives Matter. That's just what it is. If you look at that, that's what it is. Now, when you look at the whole organization and all that, you got the white guy who funded all the shit. I'm not going to say his name. You know it. And then you got the people who were at the helm of the shit, which are, you know, LGBTQ black women. And you go to their website, they got stuff about trans and stuff like that. You know, so it's a split motive or ulterior motive, but also they don't have our best interests at heart. That's why one of the founders or one of the leaders, whatever, was exposed for having a $9 million mansion. I'm pretty sure that's what it was as far as the actual price. I could be wrong, but you can go and look it up to get the actual factual, because it's something that was real big and it pretty much popped the bubble for a lot of people who actually pay attention to the news. So when you look at all of that, that's what that did. And then you get people like this who say that stuff. So I don't really have too much to say about this. But before I continue, I'm going to say this real quick. A lot of y'all be on the videos like the 1090 Jake video I just did, or the Adam 22 video when I'm calling out white culture vultures. Oh, man, y'all got to stop playing the victim. Y'all got to stop playing the victim. Da, 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 da. Oh, y'all racist. Da, 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 all this stuff. Listen, when these white people is coming on posts like the Cenat posts, like none of y'all Ortiz screen name ass niggas is in the comments defending black people or saying you shouldn't be racist or nothing. Yeah, I don't see you motherfuckers. When I'm putting up videos about Jason Aldean being racist and these white country loving motherfuckers is coming in my comments saying fuck shit, I don't see y'all defending black people. So, like, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Oh, y'all always playing a victim. Y'all always fuck you. Fuck you. I'm black. This is a hip hop channel. Y'all don't fuck with niggas. Some of y'all don't fuck with black people. That's just what it is. Stop the bullshit. Just stop the bullshit. Let's continue. Speaking of hip hop, this is probably going to be the only hip hop comment I have in this video, but it is related to Jim Jones because that's the biggest video on my shit. And the top comment says, you see it got 97 likes. It says, Jim is arrogant for no reason. And this is the beef with him and Pusha T, if you didn't know. Jim is arrogant for no reason. His whole career is full of stuff Push can use, like the Rucker incident, the True Life incident, the JoJo Capone, Jaja Mendeecees incident, Cam dissing Jim, snitching allegations, a 40-plus-year-old man crying on a Funk Flex show, and countless other things. Jim must be bipolar. He started a rap battle, then tries to dictate how it should go. This is in reference, if you know the video, he basically was saying he was going to hurt Pusha T if he went too far. Criticized Push as an MC, then talked about everything but his pen. Jim is way too emotional and all over the place to be talking about anyone. Now, as far as that, you know, with the beef, you see how personal the Drake beef got, and Jim said, you know, if it get that personal, he gonna have to see him and all that stuff. Blah, blah, blah. People throughout all the comments said, oh, he must think Virginia is sweet. Virginia got his back. Da, 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 da. All this stuff is goons in Virginia. Da, 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 da. Listen, man. At the end of the day, all of that stuff is public and Push can twist it. But the way Push worked on that Drake shit, he went underground and he found some stuff. He was I said this in the other video. He was anticipating the Drake beef, so it gave him years to dig up stuff that wasn't public. When it comes to this Jim Jones shit, y'all wanted a quick dish, y'all wanted some microwave shit. I guarantee you that that man is going and digging, not even in the vault, he's digging in the dirt, trying to find gold in the dirt. That's what's going on. Now, outside of that, all the other shit, I mean, I talked about it, but it's really the Jay-Z line. Sensitive thugs, they all need hugs. I mean, I seen some shit today where Moneybagg Yo pretty much, he canceled 2 shows off his tour because of low ticket sales, and some thug nigga that like nobody know, he's not a popping rapper or nothing, was in the, he probably got to be an affiliate of some sort, and he said that's why we press up on y'all bloggers when we see you, nigga, because y'all niggas be trying to take a man who trying to feed his family wearing a CEO hat and make him look bad in front of everybody. Dog, it's not that deep. Him losing 2 dates off a tour, him shutting those down because of low ticket sales is not gonna ruin his career. His music is doing great. He is not on a downward decline. He's actually trying to be an arena nigga. That's just what it is. And it comes with the game, man. It's nothing, it's not an indictment like getting your chain took. But that be the thing about these rap niggas and niggas associated with these rap niggas. They be sensitive and violent, and they pick and choose when it comes to the violence. So we just gonna keep it moving. Now, I said this was a hip-hop channel, but listen, man, we still trying to find an identity to some extent, you know, and I probably won't have the identity of this channel until I hit 1,000 subscribers or until I hit about 150 videos, somewhere in that ballpark, because I'm trying to figure this shit out. But with that being said, we back to the race shit, and I'll tell you one thing. Even though I'm responding to race comments, this is not going to be a race channel. This is not about to be that shit, you know. But anyways, this is from my Jason Aldean video, and this is what one of the users had to say. He said, "Ow!" Like Michael Jackson. "Ow! You really had to twist a lot to get to your conclusion, sir. Since you admitted that rap music invites violence and has its past!" Exclamation point. He screamed that. "And since you accused Jason Aldean of inciting violence, I'll be anxious to see when the violence occurs from his song. I respect your opinion, but wholeheartedly disagree." He had a typo. So with that, I'm not really mad at this. I'm gonna keep it 500,000. I'm not mad at this because, like he said, it's a difference in opinion, and just because we have a difference in opinion, I'm not going to call this person like racist if he doesn't agree, because some people just don't get it. Some people can't see it. Some people just choose to be ignorant. It is what it is. But with that being said, I think I laid a solid foundation for what it is. I could have been more calculated with it, because if you see how I talk, I come in freestyling a lot of this shit, but don't get it twisted. A lot of this is already knowledge that I have. But outside of that, the one thing that he mentioned was, you know, I admitted the truth, which when it comes to the music, as far as rap music, it influences. It can influence certain people to get into the streets to whatever extent. It could even be 5%. But it definitely influences. And even then, it can incite violence, as far as drill music and things like that, and just beef in general. So that's a fact. But with that, I don't know why he mentioned that, just to, like, you know, like say that I was like, I don't get it. Like it, like since I did, like, so what? Like, I don't get it. But as far as this music inciting violence, you got to understand, and I'm gonna just be short on this. When it comes to white supremacy, you know, you have overt and covert. And when it comes to covert, this is how it works. It works under a veil. So, of course, You got to think about it. Like, nobody has ever pointed and said, man, this song made him kill people. Da-da-da-da-da. When it's time for the media to get a scapegoat, they can find a scapegoat. They tried to put it on Marilyn Manson when the kids did Columbine in 98, 99, somewhere in that ballpark. They tried to put it on Marilyn Manson. You know, we do it with the rap music all the time. You know, it is what it is. We point to it. We're the ones who point to it. Then you'll have like government officials and stuff like that to point to it. And when it came to the Marilyn Monroe shit, they point to it. But when it comes to the shit that they love, you got to look at the news. The news is biased in different directions. They're not going to bring up who a mass shooter is a fan of, because what the media has universally decided to do is pretty much make these people out, as far as, we got to be clear, white mass shooters as victims. They try to paint the mental illness narrative. That's what they try to do. They don't demonize their own. That's just what it is. So with that being said, you're never going to hear that this caused anything at any point, even if it does actually get a lot of people, or even just one person, charged up to commit a violent act. So we on the last one, and this is another racial one, man. So, you know, that, hey, man, you're going to see something in the title about how racial the video is and stuff like that. But this is on the Anton Daniels video, where he basically breaks down that we are not oppressed in any way, shape, or form as black people, and everything is fucking peachy keen, and nobody's doing nothing to us or nothing, you know. And I reacted to it and strongly disagreed. So as far as his top comment, because it got a lot of his fan base. And the thing is, when you have a YouTube fan base, an actual fan base, you don't get a lot of pushback. Everybody just agrees with you. They conform to your school of thought. And then, you know, they go out and they spread, you know, your gospel. That's what they do. I don't have that. That's how come you come to my channel and there's pushback out the motherfucking ass when I say something polarizing. Because the right people haven't found me, and that's just what it is. But he says, bro, it's not that deep. We need to focus on responsibility and accountability. Everything else is noise. Take charge of your life and be a lion. Don't take no for an answer. Don't compare yourself to anyone. You are your own worst enemy. I'm going to try and break this down line by line, but we are going to go to the bottom because it's the easiest stuff to go over. So you are your own worst enemy. That's definitely a possibility when it comes to you being successful and things like that. When it comes to racism and stuff like that, and we're talking about prospering, doing business or anything like that, that is the last thing I assume. I try to assume everything else outside of that before we get to that. And I probably even mentioned that in the video. You should not make racism a scapegoat for you not being qualified to get opportunities. That's just what it is. But, you know, let's continue. It is prevalent in some cases, and we'll get to that later. You know, don't compare yourself to anyone. I think that's bullshit. It's cool depending on the context, and I could do a whole video on this, but outside of the racial shit, if we just talking business, you're going to have competition. There's someone in your way if you are in the market trying to, you know, and you're trying to get money and stuff like that. Somebody has a better product than you, if they are in a better position, if they have a better service, and they have better marketing and all of that shit, they're going to do better than you. And it's not even them just doing better than you. You might not even get a piece of the pie. So you got to be aware of competition in business. Anybody who tells you you don't is a fucking fool, and they don't know shit, because all the top business dudes talk about competition. That's just what it is. That can even go towards you getting a promotion at the job and stuff like that. And again, this is all non-racial. This is just general. But as far as, you know, you on some intrinsic shit, like, okay, man, and these are usually rooted in this person is better than me, or I feel inadequate because I can't do what other people do. You know, I agree when it comes to that. You should not compare yourself to anyone. So those are my universal beliefs outside of race. You can apply those to race. You know, it still equals out the same, because that's how I feel about comparing yourself to anyone. And even then, if we talk race, I don't get where comparing yourself to anyone would really come in. You know, as far as maybe at the job and stuff like that. But again, at the job, you have to be you have to really look at yourself and be like, am I really better than this person? Why is this and even then, let's say you better than them at everything at the job. Well, why is this person getting favor? They may have a better relationship with the higher ups than you. You need to figure out how to build that relationship. That's just what it is. There are so many things you can get to before you get to race in those type of environments. Now let's continue. So this is the last thing I'm going to go over with this. You know, it says we need to focus on responsibility and accountability. Everything else is noise. Now, this is the thing. I feel like a lot of these people, you got to know when you were talking to these people, who they are, what they identify as, because those could play into their beliefs. When it comes to Anton, I don't know if Anton is a foundational Black American. And what that basically means is he a descendant of slaves? Is he someone that is entitled to reparations? Is he someone who comes from this damaged lineage, you know, that has been passing slave trauma down for generations? Or is he an African or a Caribbean, or, you know, which Caribbeans don't really have these issues for the most part as far as the issues I'm about to name? Or is he a UK nigga, you know, who has African parents and stuff like that, who has never had to deal with any of this shit, has not been passed down this trauma, and doesn't understand what's going on here, doesn't have any ties to any civil rights shit in America? Because the thing is, these people, they be like second generation Nigerian or whatever the fuck, and they just be like, man, racism don't exist. Shit, white people love me. I haven't had to deal with it. And this is the thing. Most of us don't deal with heavy discrimination on a daily basis. We go through life and everything be cool. I said that in the video, but people overlook a lot of shit and just make the narratives that they want to make. I mean, even you hear in my speech, I'm not saying that everything is racial, but this is the thing about his comment with, we need to focus on responsibility and accountability. I named several situations that pretty much debunk what Anton is saying, as far as we have no oppression, 0%. I mentioned a study, and I think it was done by Berkeley. You can go and check the video. I'll put it on the screen. Where 2% of applicants that they sent to these, you know, high earning jobs and stuff like that, they sent 2% of people with names that are seemingly Black or ghetto. And they sent about 8,000 joints out. Only 2% got callbacks based on the names, qualified and everything. They did the experiment, they did the track, and only 2% got callbacks for an interview. Only 2%. You might think that's a fucking, you know, like, you know, just a one-off situation that you could. They just had the Wells Fargo shit happen within the past decade, where redlining is how the ghettos and Black people were segregated and the ghettos were created. That's how it happened. That's supposed to be some old shit that's illegal, and they stopped doing that. But guess what? When it comes to housing loans, Wells Fargo, a huge bank that gives out probably billions of dollars in loans a year, them motherfuckers got caught redlining. What does that do? That directly hinders Black people from getting, you know, good living areas and things like that. That directly hinders Black people from moving into better areas. I could do that shit all day. These are things that I mentioned in the video, and trust me, I have a bag full of that shit. But you got people like this who want to act like there is no oppression, no racism exists, all white people are just great, and that's just it. There is no such thing as white supremacy. I mean, bruh, you could look at the whole 13th Amendment and all this, bruh. This shit is ingrained in the country, bruh. It's ingrained in the country. They demonize our kids when they get killed, unarmed by cops. They let the cops get paid vacation. Like, I could do this shit all day. Now, the point that I made in the video is that when I go through my everyday life, I be pretty cool. I like white people. I be having a good time with white people. We cool. But we cannot act like there are not people and institutions that are working against us. And we can't fail to acknowledge that, because all that's going to do is perpetuate it and make it stronger and make it easier for them to get the shit off. So you sleep ass niggas who want to be on some opportunist shit. And that's another thing about Anton. I fuck with Anton content, but Anton is an opportunist. Anton is a capitalist opportunist. All he cares about is money. Anton has said he never personalized none of the beef that he has because he always wants to keep the door open to do business with somebody that he doesn't like or that doesn't like him. Why? Because at the end of the day, and you could go like, listen, it's people richer than him who disagree with that business philosophy, like Russell Simmons. You can read Super Rich. Donald Trump, you can read his book, The Art of the Deal. He said he stopped fucking with like a football player because he was a schmuck. That's the word he used. So there are people who do business on a way bigger plateau than Anton who disagree with him. But Anton is an opportunist and Anton care about the bag. So no matter what, Anton is going to get the bag. Even if the motherfucker hates his guts, he's going to work with them to get the bag, because all he cares about is money. That's how come he supported Pearl, because it was never about integrity. All them niggas, they look at her as an opportunity and they don't want to burn that bridge. Now, don't get it twisted. They may not even fuck with niggas and they may be like, you know, supporting like, you know, all the bullshit as far as the anti-black shit. They may be supporting some of that shit. But at the end of the day, these cats is opportunists and they trying to get that bag. That's what he always talk about, getting that bag. But then, if you really watch his content, he contradicts that whole thing, because when he was sitting down with Sarah Garvey, and I'm going to wrap it up here. When he was sitting down with Sarah Garvey, he asked Sarah Garvey, why would you read a contract from somebody you beefing with? And then tried to like really get on him about that point and hold his feet to the fire. When before that, I seen Anton do a video where he was saying like, I will do business with anybody. I never close the door. Like, you know, I always leave the door open to do business with people who don't like me. You know, I never delete their numbers, that type of shit. So it's like, not only is he an opportunist, but he's a disingenuous dude when it comes to that stuff. I know I made this last part about Anton, but the whole point is things need to be done about, you know, the way that black people are systemically oppressed or even worked against, whatever word you want to use. But it's literally oppression. And if you try to act like it doesn't exist, you're a fucking fool. And you really don't care about black people for real. You really just don't, especially if that's the message that you were spreading. I do believe, remember, the whole thing that I said, you should not go to racism first. It should probably not even be on your docket of things to go to in most situations. But it should be that you should look at so much before you get to the conclusion of racism, especially when we talking about business and opportunities and things like that. Get better, not bitter. But let's not act like it doesn't exist. That's foolish. I'm out.